You guys have asked for it. We are here today to review the 350Z. So the mighty 350Z, Nissan's jump back into the Z platform from the 300ZX, which it had massive shoes to fill. That last 300ZX, twin turbo V6, pretty much a baby GTR, just rear wheel drive. First impressions. Obviously being naturally aspirated, it does like to rev. It likes you to rev out to get that power, to get the most of it. Decent amount of pull from around about 2.5, but you really start to feel the compliments of this engine once you get above 3-4 grand, as we are now. 3 grand now, we're starting to hook up, now we're starting to motor on. Responsiveness, very good, very responsive. I believe this is an electronic throttle, which is quite surprising, this car being 2003. It was probably right around when most cars were starting to move to electronic throttles. But to be honest, it does feel slow. This has, I think, 200 odd kilowatts, about 270, 280 horsepower. Obviously, this being a near on 20-year-old car, it'll be interesting to see how many of those horses have still remained and how many of them have galloped away. But all in all, it is a solid platform, really good powertrain. Just not as much, I guess headroom as the old 300ZX is being. Twin turbo, you just wind the boost up, have a bit of fun. But pretty solid car. A pretty solid car nonetheless, and the power delivery is just very linear like most NA cars, and I'd say it's a solid B minus. It's good, but it doesn't wow me. I guess I like turbos.
So where we live, we're kind of lucky in that we're at the bottom of a mountain. So what's better than testing handling of cars than mountain roads? So this is Mount Tamarine, if you know or familiar with Brisbane and the area. I mean, just look at this gorgeous apex and chicane, tightens up, it's just beautiful. But the 350Z, just it's a nice handling car. I think just initially feeling this, the steering's quite heavy, but heavy in a good way. There's a lot of feedback from the road, so you can just you can really feel the road. It's a really driver's kind of car. There's so much feeling and everything. You can feel in the pedals, you can feel in the steering wheel. Doesn't seem too assisted. As we'll just scoot around the cyclist. But yeah, it just feels nice and tight. The back, it just feels really planted, really solid. The back doesn't really feel skittish at all. It just feels really, really nice and planted, especially with these tyres that's on it, which are the Pilot Sports. Great tyre. So them wrapped around these wheels on the 370 or 350 just makes it, a great handling car, and just handles the corners without batting an eye. And obviously the power, like James was saying before, is definitely enough for mountain roads like this, and all the corners and coming out of them. Just the torque curves are really nice as well, where you pull it around a corner, it grips up, you can just plant it, and it's just handles it. It's great. I think handling wise is probably one of the best features of these 350s. It's just it's easy to drive, it's easy to steer. It's, you know, it's just a very driver-driven car. It's just you and the car. You feel one with the car. You know, it's just, yeah, it feels great.
So the 350Z, this is a now, I believe, 20-year-old car as of next year. It's been around forever, but one of the best parts about 350Zs is their styling. For a 2002, 2003 car, this does not look it. This looks like it's only 10 years old or so, at least in my opinion. The hood, we've got really nice creases in there. The later ones with the HR engine, the nice bulged hood. Probably the best hallmark of 350Zs. Flared fenders. If you have a nice shot down the side, the front and rear fenders look amazing. Probably the only thing that this car could do with is a little bit of spaces, especially if you check out in the rear. We've got a good 2 or 3 centimeter gap, a few spaces. Space that one out would look awesome. Simple things like the door handles. Would have been very easy for Nissan to just put in your regular door handles. Now I know this is a point of contention. They do sometimes break, or apparently a lot of the time break, but it's cool, it's different, it's unique. Moving to the rear, again, I think this design was well ahead of its time. The tail lights I'm actually quite a big fan of, and the rear of the car, just big, wide, solid, ready to squat, ready to pounce. Apart from that, it's just really solid. I think when that first came out, wasn't the biggest fan, but seeing how other car designers have gone and how they've their idea of a 2-door coupe, I think the 350Z just nailed it, knocked it out of the park. This is one of the better looking coupes, especially when you consider that it is 20 years old now.
So in terms of the interior, it's not going to be any like Mercedes or any, you know, luxury car. It's still a Nissan, and it's a sports car. So they've definitely created the interior for a sports car. So the gauges, you know, they're a very sports style gauge. It's got, you know, your other gauges here with the volts, oil, and another one we can switch through, temps and all that kind of stuff as well. Because it's a driver-focused car, right? It's not meant to have all the luxuries. It's not meant to have all the added weight of a luxury car because it's still a sports car. So, and also being a Nissan, and they're trying to make it somewhat of a budget sports car. Everything is a bit plasticky. It's, you know, it's nothing too crazy. It's basic, pretty much. You can see in the door, it's just, there's not much here. It's just you got your handle, you got your buttons down here. It is all electric, so that is, you know, a positive, I guess. It is an old car, and it still came with these, so that's good. I know many other cars that are a lot newer than this that don't have, you know, power windows and stuff like that. But even on the steering wheel, you've got your cruise control with the buttons there. And center console, it's kind of basic. Again, you do have heated seats. That's about as much as the features go. You know, center console is pretty standard. You've got your shifter, quite a nice looking shifter, feels quite nice weight wise. You've got your your general aircon, and then your double-din radio there. And above it here, I'm really not a fan of this. You can press it. This one here has actually broken the spring mechanism, but it's just a hole, and it's very kind of plasticky. The mechanism's not the best. This one is broken, and my best guess would be that it's probably just a common thing that, common fault on these 350s, that it doesn't, spring up like it would from when it was new. Again, there's no glove box. No glove box. I don't know what is behind here. It's kind of disappointing. There is down here a cup holder, but to my knowledge, I think that is the only cup holder. So if you want to have some friends in your car, well, one friend because it's only 2 seats, and you want to go to Macca's or whatever, someone's going to hold their drink. Someone has to, which is again quite, it's quite annoying. it'd probably annoy you if you're driving this every day. I know it would annoy me a heap. But I mean, if you have no friends, I guess it won't worry you. But that's pretty much it for the interior. I mean, you've got your sunglass holder, some lights, your usual stuff you get in most cars. But really, it's a basic car. Yeah, it's not meant to be your luxury, cruiser.
So, you've seen that the car looks great. The interior is, well, fresh off the 90s, so it was a little plasticky. Performance, really good. Solid performer, especially for this price range. Handling wise, very, very good handling car. Now, the most important question. Is it reliable and is it going to stay running? Yes, it's a Nissan. If you Google online, you'll see that there's lots of stuff about trim pieces, interior pieces, fuel filler door, stuff like that, problematic things like that are just very small. The door handles, another common problem. But as a whole, the VQ engine platform is a very solid platform, very reliable. The only downside to it is the intake design. Because of the intake design, if you need to do anything on top of the engine, budget an hour to 2 hours to try and get everything off for you to actually access whatever you're working on. We'll link up in the top there of us replacing the valve cover gasket. That nearly took us about 5 to 6 hours to do on this. Just because of the intake design, because the intake sits right on top and covers everything. Apart from that though, it is a very solid platform. Lots of room underneath for exhausts, if you need to do any gearbox or tail shaft things, tons of room down there, easy to work on, and very, very reliable. These transmissions, the CDO9s, are very, very sought after in the drifting community when anything making high horsepower, because they're literally bulletproof. So reliability in terms of the reliability, the 350Z is solid. Very, very safe bet if you're thinking of jumping into your first sports car. So the 350Z, a really good entry into the sports car segment. This doesn't do anything crazy good or amazingly, but nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
So handling, good, not excellent. Power, good, not excellent. I think exterior-wise, it does look a lot better than most entry-level sports cars.
Yeah.
And then, what else? Interior-wise,
I mean, it's lacking, but
it is a Japanese car, just shy out of the 90s. So
and it's a budget sports car.
Yeah,
so,
it's budget. It's friendly.
It's not meant to have all the weight and all that, luxury stuff.
Obviously, you had more money, you could buy like a Cayman, some kind of Porsche, that kind of thing. Similar power, similar shape. Just a lot nicer, inside, a lot more money. Morgan, most important thing, would you buy one with your own money? Would you recommend one? Would you recommend something else, or would you just completely stay away, don't touch it?
Well, I do like it. I think the 350 is one car that I originally hated, and then as I've got more into the car scene, and I like it a lot. It's a really nice car, and I think I can appreciate now for what it is. And would I buy it with my own money? It's a tough one, possibly. At the moment, I don't think so. Would I recommend it? Absolutely.
I think I'm in the same boat. I think what's lacking for me is torque.
Yeah.
After having a turbo car, just the pull and being pushed into the back of your seat is a feeling that you just can't replace. This does it to an extent, but with an NA motor, there's not much you can do about it. But would definitely highly recommend it to someone who's looking to get into the car scene. If you've had anything faster than 300 odd horsepower, it's probably going to feel a little bit slow. But if you're a P-plater, you're looking for your first car, these are P-plate approved. You'll be faster than every GT86 BRZ owner. What else would you get? Golf GTIs, you'll keep up, if not beat them unless they've had work done. So a really solid platform, and I think really knocked it out of the park, really.
So the question now is though, out of all the Lemon to Lambo cars we've had, what would you rank it?
I think this is number one.
I think
I think The MPS, the Mazda 3 MPS definitely felt
close.
faster.
I think the MPS is close, but I think it doesn't look anywhere near as good as this.
No, this looks a lot better. I think interior-wise, this is a little better.
Yeah. Handling better.
Much better, yeah.
Really, the only thing the MPS has over it is the power.
Yeah. The WX, I wasn't a big fan of it.
I really was. I mean, it's just the classic blue gold rim.
I think the looks-wise, especially the big spoiler on the back, WX look well, but performance, not there.
Yeah.
And we won't say the L word. Audi, I think the Audi on par. Maybe this takes the cake for looks-wise.
Yeah.
But to like put it in perspective, this is a 3.5 litre V6, the Audi 3.2, but this makes near on 100 and something more horsepower. So very good. But that's our review of the 350Z. We'll put up the list of all the cars that we've owned so far. Unfortunately, this is the first one, so this is the only review you're gonna get. But from then on out, we'll be doing more. So thanks heaps for watching. Consider subscribing and comment below what your thoughts on the 350Z platform.